Hello, I'm Tim Obrien with Hard Truth Distilling Company. I'm one of the partners, and you're listening to the Final Third podcast.
Coming to you from the award-winning Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, PCA's 2024 Best of Leaf Midwest Cigar Bar, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third podcast.
Welcome back to the Final Third podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Mike, and we are on site again with Tim.
Hello.
Where are we at today, Tim?
We're at Hard Truth Distilling Company.
That's awesome. I love that.
Beautiful property. If you haven't been down
amazing.
here, you got to come.
It's an amazing place. It's my first time. Rob's been here for some barrel picks. I know Dirk frequents this place.
Yeah.
Like it's his job, because it is.
It is.
But yeah, so Tim gave us the executive treatment today. Got a little private tour.
Yeah.
We're going to do some tastings, and then we're going to go have lunch. So,
yeah.
Rob, tell us about the cigar first,
Yeah.
and then we'll get into what we're drinking.
Well, and we smoked this a couple times on the show, but we were looking for something full-bodied to have today, and we're going to be smoking the Knuckle Sandwich Chef Special 2024 edition, Connecticut Broadleaf over Nicaraguan binder and filler, and we just thought this would go really well with the Hard Truth product. So.
Heck yeah.
And we're going to be tasting something special, so I'll let you tell us a little bit about the bourbon we're going to be drinking.
Sure, yeah. This is something out of the lab. It's going to be one of our releases next year for the Barrel Finished Reserve series. And what's in the bottle is a blend of our sweet mash bourbon, which is our standard bourbon, the one with the black label.
Okay.
And some of our Farmer's Reserve bourbon, which is what's special about that is it's our first whiskey that's made with all Indiana grain.
Oh, nice.
So one of those examples of something, we take our partnerships pretty seriously with our farmers, and that's one of the whiskeys that's 100% local partner farmers.
That's
perfect.
nice.
Yeah.
And it's been finished on French oak. So
Okay.
Yep.
That was one of the nice things when we were doing the tour earlier. You were talking about using as much local, if not all local, products you can. The corn, the grain, all the stuff that you're going through, and farmers up in Rushville and Evansville and all around here that are creating the great growing some really great grains for you, but it's all still local. So why get corn anywhere but Indiana, right?
That's right. We grow some really good corn.
Yes,
Yeah.
we sure do.
And I love this talk about local, too, because we had just discussed the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass series that they're coming out with. And while, it seems like some of these larger brands are trying to get back to their family roots, here, be careful with that when it's a touchscreen. So flip the top, turn it around.
Got it.
Flip it up, back here.
Yeah, that's
There you go.
Show me how to. Oh,
That's
there we
a
go.
different kind.
Touch the screen is a touch screen. So
All right.
now it's
Technology.
lit, so don't burn your face.
All right.
But yeah, we're talking about the grain to glass with Heaven Hill, and while they seem like they're trying to get back to their family roots, which they are, they're still going through Beck's for supplying, but they're using a family farm in Loretto. I think it was Peterson Farms. So when you were taking us through, telling us about all that stuff, it kind of rang true to some of the stuff that these larger brands are trying to get back to. Is what you guys are doing continuously.
Yeah, absolutely.
With your families of farmers.
Being smaller gives us that advantage, allows us to be able to rely on the local producers, and it's been fun to cultivate those relationships.
The hell you lighting over there, Rob?
Had to get a little bit of the lighter sound in. I like that.
Yeah, it's that's your triple jet over there.
Heck yeah. So we're on site today, and it's a warm day out here, but it's summer. It should be warm. But you were telling us a little bit about the history of Hard Truth, where you guys started. Do you mind giving us a little synopsis? I know you don't want to talk for an hour straight. I get it. So just give us a little bit of breakdown of where you started and where you're heading.
Yeah, so kind of first and foremost, we'll talk about the place, right? We're in Brown County, Indiana. We started our business here because we lived here, and we started as Big Woods Brewing Company in 2009, small brew pub. We kind of got that going because there just wasn't anything like that here in the community. I was brewing some home brew, and my partners, we got together and said, let's start something. Really small batches of beer. And over time, that evolved into the restaurant brand growing, which was kind of a fun kind of coincidence. Of just as we got into business, we didn't intend to be restaurant tours, but here we are, right?
Yep.
And it helped fund the growth of the brewery. Our brewery, as the restaurants grew, we decided to establish Quaffon Brewing Company to separate the beer from the restaurants. And then when the Indiana legislature established the artisan distiller's permit, it allowed us to be able to hold one as brewers, and we knew we wanted to take advantage of that. So honestly, that's kind of where Hard Truth Distilling Company was born from, that piece of legislation.
Yeah.
That allowed us to get into this business. What I will say is, with the brewing, we started really, really small and struggled and did it the hard way to be able to get to the scale we are now. And we did decide to take the distilling a lot more seriously from the beginning in terms of, we know our ultimate goal, which is to grow a whiskey brand.
Yeah.
And so kind of everything you see here at Hard Truth might not be exactly how we envisioned it in the very beginning, but all the fundamental pieces were in our minds. We knew that we wanted to do what we've done here.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
one of the things you were talking about earlier is you guys have, 325 acres here. And by being able to start with a larger piece of land, larger buildings and all that stuff, you're not going to be backing yourself into a corner at some point when you're trying to make more whiskey. You have options to be able to do that now. And, we talked to our buddies up there at Moondrops, and they're kind of already feeling that, even though they just got started, and they're hoping to be able to tag onto their land and be able to build some more rick houses and all that as well. So it's nice to do that. And again, I understand too, because I've already kind of grown out of my space on a lot of nights.
Yep.
I can't add on because I don't have any more parking spaces, so it doesn't do any good. So now we're looking at possible opening up another location and stuff like that. So it's you can't grow if you don't have the space to grow.
Yeah, and the 100% true. And the other side of that is that this acreage that we invested in was to provide this experience. We Brown County's known for our state park, and we're sitting here in a piece of property that might as well be in the middle of the state park.
Yeah. It might be the most beautiful property in Brown County.
Well, thank you.
I mean, seriously, walking through here and the way you cleaned out the trees to add what you've added, but you're not taking away from the ambiance of the woods. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, having the acreage to be able to always have that buffer of all these trees to be surrounded and immersed in is key.
Yeah, you almost don't feel like you're here.
Yeah,
You're
right.
like, you're driving down 15 miles of road before you get here from the highway, and then you get here and you're like, oh man, like that's in the woods.
You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere right now,
Yeah.
and it's really awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Instead of just sitting by a highway. That's cool.
Yeah.
So we got one new rick house back there that just finished while you were on vacation, apparently.
Yeah, we do.
So-
Yeah.
So what are the plans? I mean, obviously there's going to be plans eventually for more expansion, but is that going to be another rick house first before more tanks, or?
Yeah, definitely. I know we have plans for one more, which I think will kind of establish our phase one of rick houses, right? Essentially, to be able to support a certain level of production. But as we grow and expand, like I mentioned, we've invested in this property and the equipment we have to be able to grow. So, it kind of depends on what the future holds for us, right?
Sure.
Rack houses are always going to be an important part of that as we increase whiskey production. But we have the capability, if and when we choose to build more, install more fermenters, and also if we wanted to drop larger or more columns.
Yeah,
To,
more columns.
distill.
More
Yeah,
columns.
More columns.
More
yeah.
columns.
Yeah.
Yep.
You tried this yet, Rob?
No, yet. Not yet. Let's get into
Give me the
bourbon.
nose on
yeah.
this one. This is
Oh,
this is my Steve Strabbing segment.
it might be. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's caramel.
It's very caramely.
Yeah, I get a little nuttiness.
Little nuttiness.
Yep.
Yep.
Like some pralines.
It's almost like a
Yep.
as I say, it's almost like a praline or like a candied almond, or not almond, but candied pecan.
Yep. That nails it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's great nose.
It's fantastic. So when is this one going to be released? Later this year, or is this next year's?
This will be next year's.
Okay.
release. Yep.
Stay tuned.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
really nice.
We're going to be a deep preview here. Yeah.
yeah,
like a
heck
deep
yeah, I
dive.
love that.
And this one is sitting right now at 3 years 9 months. And you're going to age this out to what?
I would imagine they're going to want to get at least 4 out of it.
Yeah.
3 years, 10 months.
Yeah. So
So you're going to release this later this year, you said, right?
this will be next year.
Next year. Okay.
So it might have another year on it
Okay.
potentially,
Cool.
or at least close to another year.
What's
Well, it's
nice?
great now.
What was the proof on this? Do you know? Or you just pulled this out of the barrel, didn't you?
Yeah. So what this is generally, the general rule of thumb when we talk about our whiskeys is you're probably going to land in the 112 range, but it
Okay.
can be anywhere from 105 to 125.
Right.
This is tasting probably far more probably in that 110, 120.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
like 114, 115.
Yeah, I was
Kinda
gonna say
drinks
it's
in the medium.
It's got that nice coating for the mouth. The mouthfeel.
The
Thanks,
mouthfeel.
Scott. But it's definitely. I mean, it's hanging on the glass. This has got some great viscosity already. Great product right here.
Thank you.
And this
French oak.
one's the French oak, double oak, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Very, very good.
So at this stage, it spent 10 weeks on the French oak. So I guess, depending on whether this is the final blend or not, it might be at that 3 3/4 age.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it might be a matter of adding how long it spends on that French oak, or maybe this is a trial. That's the beauty of the lab. I don't know exactly.
Right.
Well, this is definitely a good representation of what French oak does, because it gives you those caramely kind of bright notes, some citrus in there a little bit, but it doesn't take it to the oak tannic level.
Mm-hmm.
You just get that bright notes of the oak, which is very nice.
Yeah,
I love it.
When Brian Smith, our master distiller, realized this was sitting on the table, he said, "Oh, take this, take that."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
really good. So I saw a couple, label approvals from TTB this week that were hard truth.
Yeah.
Distiller reserves it's the barrel proof barrel reserve. What is
Yeah.
that?
Was that
I
the
wrote it
one
down.
back in the tank? Is that the one that was in the tank we saw back
Yeah,
here?
you're-
With a barrel finish reserve 5-year double oak,
Yep.
and then the barrel reserve straight rye blend. That
Yes.
was like
Yeah.
4 different
Yes.
blends, wasn't it? Tell us about that one.
Yeah. So this year we released our sherry finish cognac, brandy, and sauternes.
Oh.
And what you're referring to, I believe, is a blend,
Yeah, the blended
a custom blend of those various finishes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll
So-
be really interesting.
Sounds
So are those typically only distillery releases?
They're what we would consider at LTO limited time offer.
Okay.
We will definitely be very distillery focused, but there should be enough that it will be making its way into.
Do you
into
have the
markets.
cognac here for sale? The cognac finish?
There's a good chance.
I may have to pick a bottle up, because I think that was one of the ones that Brian had us try last year,
Okay.
and it wasn't even aged to the point yet. It was coming out of the barrel. And it was amazing.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what we can do.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I bet there's a bottle floating around somewhere.
That'd be awesome.
We'll
That'd be
see.
awesome. I'd love to get one of those. Actually, like I said, when Dirk and I and his wife and some friends of his came down here and did that pick, Brian was super gracious. He does a great job back there, not only with what he's doing for his job, but also going through the tasting experience and explaining things and going through and trying the most unique barrels to let you see what's coming. No, you can't pick this, but it's very, very good,
Right.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
he's
people
a very
like to
good.
tease us on a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, of all the people we've met here, everybody's just absolutely, fantastic.
Well, thank you.
I mean, I met a lot of people working here. I met your general manager up in here a few minutes ago. She's really nice. Travis, is that his name? Yeah.
Travis, yep.
I met him last time I was here. He's a character,
He is,
and he runs your tours, right?
Yeah, he's one of our primo tour guides. Yep.
So again, that's another thing you can come down here and do. You can do the tours of the property. They do the ATV tours. They now have their boat tours, the tiki tour. Out there, you can go out on a pontoon and drink tiki drinks, and
We should have done that.
we should
have done the podcast from the
on. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that would be
next
fun.
time. Next time.
Next time. We'll do
next
it.
year when we come back for
We'll do a
these
rum
releases.
feature, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you
Oh,
go.
that'd be great. Yeah.
Rob's a
'cause-
sucker for rum casks, so
Oh yeah. Well, and I will say we saw a ton of your Hard Truth toasty coconut rum.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of that. My wife also loves the bourbon maple cream and stuff like that because she uses that in her coffee all the time, and we have a lot of people who just drink that over ice too. It's
Absolutely.
fantastic. So
I feel like I'm missing out.
why?
I can't drink that. The cream.
Oh, the cream.
Oh,
yeah,
I
you're
can't
right.
have
I
dairy,
can't. I
so
can't
like,
anymore
man.
either. So
I
yeah.
feel sad for you.
I know,
It's
right?
really
Like,
good.
Everyone tells me, and they're like, "Here, you got to try this." I'm like,
Yeah.
someday, maybe I'll just be like, you know what? It's gonna be
it's worth
it, I
feeling like
guess."
crap later.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah.
We have
Well-
a lot of those days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I'm sure there's going to be options in there for us to eat when we go to lunch here
Oh,
in a
yeah.
while.
Yeah,
but
we get
if
lunch
not,
after this.
it's fine. We'll feel bad tomorrow. It'll be great.
Worth it. So worth it. So, what's your favorite thing? So,
Mhm.
since
Well, because you started out a beer
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
so, let's talk beer for a second.
Sure.
Yeah.
Talk about Quaffon real quick. My
So
wife
just
loves
just so you
Quaffon.
know,
Oh, no kidding.
Quaffon.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen or been in a bar or a store and you've seen 6 foot blonde or 6 foot strawberry blonde, that's these guys.
Yeah.
That are those your 2 top sellers?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because those are everywhere and great beers. But go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh no, you're good, brother.
No,
yeah.
just,
So, like, when you started doing brewing, like, what was your palate like with the beer? Like, what was your go to, or were you just trying to get it out to the masses and just wanted to do everything?
Enjoy live harness racing action at Harrah's Hoosier Park, Tuesday through Saturday through November 30th. First post on weeknights is 6:15 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Saturdays. Also enjoy the Hop Bebop concert series to go along with racing on Saturdays with local musical acts live from the Hop Outdoor Recreational Area from 7 to 10 p.m. Admission is free. Harrah's Hoosier Park, premier gaming in the heart of the Midwest.
So, our original flagship, which is still one of our top selling beers, is Busted Knuckle, our porter.
Yep.
That
So,
one's good.
I've always been a dark beer fan. I just enjoy beer and trying beer in general, right? So
Who doesn't?
it's not easy for me to say what my favorite beer or beer style is, but dark beer kind of just from my roots of beer drinking. It's definitely a darker beer. So the Busted Knuckle wasn't an accident. I wanted to make a dark beer that I enjoyed and hopefully a lot of other people would enjoy. But what I'd say about Quaffon and our, I guess, philosophy, if you want to put it that way, is, we're not necessarily out there trying to make crazy big beers, different crazy styles of beer. Although we do and can make some fun beers, our core and root is in the blonde ale, the 6 foot blonde, the strawberry blonde, the Busted Knuckle, simple clean beers.
Yeah.
That's kind of our goal, and our bread and butter, right? We'll get out
Sure,
there and
we
make
can
some
sell
new
it.
fun stuff, but that's what we're really all about.
So you guys do a bunch of like experimentals still with the beer, or are you guys kind of set on your core line?
We have a pretty well-established core line, but brewers like to be creative, so
Sure.
we do try to foster that as we can. We have a small batch brewery that is in the Big Woods Pizza restaurant in the middle of Nashville. We don't utilize it nearly as much as we should, but that's where we can test pilot some things, and we are in the process of getting the crew re-energized and getting them the time to spend some time down there. And what's fun about that is those beers will be pretty much featured at the pizza restaurant, probably exclusively.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Maybe at some of the other locations of ours, maybe here at Hard Truth, but the pizza restaurant's going to be the focal point, kind of the public-facing place for people to experience Qua Fon more directly.
Sure.
So, but yeah, we're really focused on creating. If you ask the crew, we're a strawberry blonde factory, right? We're making we're trying to make all we can to keep people, to be able to have that steady supply of that beer, because it's definitely our biggest seller by
That's
a large
awesome.
margin.
Yeah, that's great. And
But
then you
it's definitely-
started.
It's
go
definitely
ahead.
one of those beers that even if and I don't mean women are not into beer like men, but for the longest time that was the case. That's a beer that's approachable for someone that's not into beer yet, because they get that fruit flavor in there, and then that will allow them to expand their horizons on other beers as well.
Yeah.
And that's always a great gateway into craft beer. That beer.
It is, and and it's one that it's easy for me to forget. Well, it is. It's a really nice beer. It's not necessarily my go-to, but when I go to it, it's like, oh, there it is. It's fun. I
You
like
remember
that.
why you like it.
Yep.
Yeah. So then you started doing the distillation from the restaurant in Nashville.
Yeah, we basically, when we started Hard Truth Distilling Company, which was in 2015, we converted our small batch brew house into a small distillery, which was really just kind of a test pilot space where Brian was able to start learning the craft, for us collectively to learn what we think our path forward looks like for making spirits, and then be able to start spending time in the distilling community, meeting people and getting ourselves established. That's really what Brian did back then. Outside of the learning and creativity, was just making sure that he was spending time with the key people in the industry to be able to figure out how to
learn from everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And that's what's fun. Brewing and distilling, I don't think I would have ever guessed are as welcoming of communities as they are. It's amazing how much we all try to help each other learn. It blows me away.
It's the same thing in cigars too.
Yeah.
And I that's why I think I love these two industries so much, is because the people are amazing, and they also like each other, and they work together, and they do things together. And you know what, if you have an issue with your still and somebody else has the same still, you'll call them and they'll tell you exactly what you need to do. It's part of the job, and everyone loves it. So
competition's good.
Back in it is, and like in brewing, because that's what I know more intimately from a production standpoint. If you're lacking a bag of grain or having an issue with needing a certain type of yeast, I know I can call any number of Indiana partners, competitors, if you want to call them that, and I'll have their back, they'll have ours, when you need that kind of help. Yeah. And it's I don't think it's any different in the whiskey world. And what's wild is that extends to like the heart of whiskey, in Kentucky, right? I mean, they're as welcoming as anything else. It's wild.
Yeah.
There's a beam on every corner.
It kind of is. Yeah. Well, and you said earlier, I think you said you have 4 or 5 Big Woods locations now.
So collectively, we have 9 Big Woods restaurants.
Okay.
When you kind of throw all the restaurants together.
Okay.
And then we have a Hard Truth bar and Bottle Works.
Yep.
Up in Indianapolis on Mass Ave.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've been down there
It's-
before. Yeah.
If it's worth visiting, it's a cool place.
I stay away from downtown. If I can't find a parking spot like immediately.
Good
and
thing
going
is there's a
home.
huge parking
Well-
lot right next door to it.
Oh, that's good.
They have
Yeah.
their own parking lot.
All right, well,
so
I'll go there.
Go down and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well worth the visit. That facility, it's the garage at Bottle Works, and
All kinds of different
long has
food
that
from
been
around the
there?
world. A few years.
yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I filmed at Bottle Works last year, and I didn't notice that. I was not.
You were on
inside
the
of it.
opposite side of the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not real assuming from the outside
Yeah.
until you walk in, and it's like there's restaurants from different parts of the world all around there.
Yeah, it's a
and
super cool place.
it
like,
is.
It's the melting pot of everything in that place.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've never actually like shopped there, sat and ate there, but
yeah. Well,
I've been in the area.
now you know you can have a sweet
Yeah,
mash
how about
cocktail
that?
there.
Yeah.
So
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's like going. I can't. What was Bellefontaine is where West Forks Whiskey House is downtown,
Okay.
and it's
I've not
like
been there yet.
a back alley.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the place is super nice. Don't get me wrong, but they have their own parking lot too. But there's like 10 spots behind the building in like an alley. So like, if that was ever full and I'm like going there to like hang out with people, like I'm
Not
going
staying.
home.
Yeah.
I don't want to circle the block for 45 minutes.
I'm not into that either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
just can't do it.
Yeah,
Or
I
like
live in
going
Brown
to-
County for a reason.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and you never have a problem finding a parking spot here because you
God,
have
no.
plenty of parking here.
Well,
And the new parking lot back this way, too.
there
So,
there is, but I would say on a busy weekend, if there's one thing that we don't have enough of, sometimes
Hey.
it can be parking.
that's
yeah.
a great problem
Good
to have, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have plenty, but yeah, when the weather's great and it's a nice Saturday, you'll have people finding a way to put their car on the side of the
Drive
roadway
all
up.
the way
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
and
it's
you,
a beautiful drive.
and you guys do music here, too. I've been back on the stage. I know Mike hasn't seen it yet. I'll show him later on, too. But that's a great setup back here, almost a natural amphitheater effect to it.
Yeah.
Really nice.
We we knew we wanted to have a lot of things for people to do here. So we've already mentioned, the tours. You can take a standard distillery tour. You can take that boat tour that we talked about. You can hop on an ATV and we'll take you through some of the old logging trails in the woods.
And by
Yeah.
take you through.
We have a guide that drives the ATV.
I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
They
I
rip
know.
you through those woods.
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah. We had the good race
Oh,
going on
you
ours.
did?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
It might have been a special one for us because we were doing the barrel pick just to
Yeah.
try to scare us a little bit. But it
Yeah.
was a blast.
Yeah, it's a good time. So we'll get you out there in the woods and have some stops, and you talk about the property and sample some products.
And that's really nice too because you're not just. I mean, you're at the distillery.
Mhm.
You're not just going through and say, "Oh, here's your rum. Oh, here's a whiskey." I mean, you're trying beers from Quaffon. You're trying all these different things all the way throughout, and so you learn about the brand as you're seeing this beautiful property. It's really a great idea to do that.
Yeah, it's fun to have the place to be able to do it, and have a place that represents the people doing the hard work of making the spirits and making the beer, and
Yeah.
being able to provide people multiple experiences. Right? You talked about the amphitheater, the terrace behind the restaurant. So there's a restaurant you can come enjoy. And if you don't want the restaurant experience and it's a nice day, you can go out to the terrace and have some quick service food. You can listen to the music on the stage,
Yeah.
and then, throughout the year we'll have any number of smaller events, just kind of having fun. So,
Yeah. So has Mellencamp come out here yet to play for you guys?
no, Mellencamp hasn't played, but,
Well, come on, John. Get out
but,
here and play for him.
but,
It's for you.
we've seen him here before. He's
Yeah.
experienced the property.
Well, and you do have a Mellencamp whiskey you guys do as well.
Yeah,
so-
we have a partnership with Mellencamp Whiskey Company, Hud and Levi. That's their company, and we
and you're distilling all their spirits, right?
yeah.
Everything's
So
yours.
so,
Yeah, yeah.
so essentially, how that works is the whiskey is ours, and they're a part of. They work with Brian and Chris Moore, our barrel manager, on what the future releases will be. Hud and Levi, they come down, they meet, figure out what the next release is going to look like.
Yeah.
And that's a key part of our cause marketing campaign as well. We have a Grounded in Truth, which is a nod to the importance we place on our local family farming. And so Grounded in Truth, the whole premise there is to benefit, family farming. And we partnered with Farm Aid this past year.
Oh,
You know, it was in Indianapolis, so it was
Yeah.
it was a natural choice, and that partnership with Mellencamp Whiskey Company definitely helped establish that, and having that product be a key feature of that partnership, and that piece of the cause marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also know you have cabins. How many cabins do you have? I saw the one on the way in. Do you have multiples yet, or just the one right now?
Just the one.
Okay. Okay.
You never know what the future will bring, but
I didn't know if you had plans for doing multiples, or if that's just. I mean, and anyone can rent that. You just have to.
yeah, it's available
get
to
the
rent
date.
just like you would rent any sort of guest house, on the internet. We use it obviously when we have some of our important guests come from the business, but people are able to rent it throughout the year. It has 2 bedrooms. I think can accommodate 4 people. It's a very nice little cabin. As far as what the future on that might hold, I think there's a big whiteboard somewhere with lots of ideas.
I'm
right?
sure. Yeah.
Whether that means more cabins like that, or
Tiki huts everywhere.
tiki huts, tree houses, who knows, right?
Yeah.
That's right now we're focusing on the whiskey. We kind of talk about this year, with having rye under our belt for the last few years, and now having the bourbon out. We talk about, this year, 2024, 2025 years of whiskey, where we're really focusing our efforts on that. Not that we're not continuing to develop the property here,
Sure.
because we are. There's always something new happening here. But certainly there are a lot of ideas on the board for potential lodging ideas. Yeah.
Well, and that's what's so cool too. You're not just distilling. You are distilling, but you're not just distilling. You're creating an experience for people. And I think Mike was talking about this earlier. You go to some craft distilleries, and nothing wrong with that. You go in there and you go to the tasting room, you check out their process, and you go home. Here you could spend an entire day here.
Oh yeah,
You can spend a weekend here
easily
and hang out, and 2-minute drive down the road here. You can go down to downtown Nashville and walk the strip there, and there's so much to do right here. But when you get in this property, you feel like you're literally not anywhere near any kind of civilization.
Yeah.
Are
Which
there
is great.
hiking trails throughout the property too?
We have one that goes around our small pond where we have our world's smallest floating rack house, right? So we do have a small trail that's established for people to use. We do use some of the bigger trails throughout the property a couple times a year. We do some running races.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And, trail run type things. To kind of expand on your point about where we are, and the fact that you can come to Hard Truth and spend a weekend for sure, but the other thing we love about where we are is Brown County itself.
Yeah.
We have the strong artist tradition, we have the shops, we have the beautiful nature and all the things you can do out in the woods, and we love that we're a part of that, right? Whether it's people that we're bringing directly or vice versa, people that come to Nashville and then find us, right? It's a mutually beneficial thing. And we've got the Brown County Music Center now that it's bringing in more and more really interesting performance acts. It's a really fun time for Brown County. And, outside of just Hard Truth, quaff on everything we have going on here, it's truly a fun place to come visit Nashville, Indiana, Brown County. There's so many things you can do. So I never want to not mention that, to people that might not be aware.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you're here.
There's 100%. Yeah. There's a reason I chose to live here, and that we've chose to grow the business here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I could see like tree houses out off the ATV trail, and like they take you to your cabin at the end of the night in the trees, and then they pick you up for breakfast.
There you go. Yeah. Who knows?
Just spitballing here.
Yeah.
I'd sleep on the water.
Deliver whiskey to your cabin.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Room service, but it's whiskey.
Oh.
You got to go to the restaurant for food. They're not going to bring that to you, but they'll bring you a bottle.
Don't worry. It's probably already on the whiteboard. It's fine.
Floating cabins. I'd sleep on the water.
If you want to use a different
there you go.
there
That's
you go.
it.
There you go.
I figured it out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, just don't put it in your pocket and then do that because it hurts.
Yes, excuse me, I had to relight. I'm not
Oh.
not as experienced as you guys there.
No,
but
we get to talking, and it happens to us too.
I will
so
tell you what,
no.
this is a good cigar.
It is a good
I would
one,
have,
isn't it?
I was unaware of it.
Yeah.
And this is really great.
Well, it's definitely been a big seller for us. The whole brand has been a
It's
great
almost
seller
becoming
for
a
us.
staple in the humidor for sure.
It is for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
all the new stuff that they got coming out too with the other chef specials, and
Yep.
their whole line is just insane.
It's impressive.
They're doing good stuff at Espinosa
Mm-hmm.
and Guy. Please tag Guy Fieri.
Yes, we will. We will.
He won't answer my emails.
No.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a restriction on emailing him because I send him so many.
It's all good.
I could probably get some others.
Yeah.
I don't know who else.
Yeah.
So Mellencamp, that's funny. My producer with the Pacers, Brian Rogie, I don't know how you say his last name. He's my producer there. I think he went to high school with Mellencamp.
Yeah.
So when he shows up at the games, he's like, "We're not showing him." I guess they had some beef or something back in school.
Oh, that's
And
hilarious.
so I'll have to figure out what his beef with Mellencamp was. 'Cause maybe Brian wrote his songs.
Yeah.
That's probably not.
Probably
it.
not,
That's
no.
probably
It's a
100% not.
terrible
they-
rumor to start there. Yeah.
Well, they were definitely both born in a small town. So,
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Mm.
man.
This is very good. I'm very happy with the things that are coming from Hard Truth. What other? I know you guys are focused more on whiskey this year. What other things are you guys like experimenting with, or is it not an experiment anymore? Like, do you guys have more, blends of things that are trying to come and?
Yeah, and I think it's a fun way to put it. There's always some level of experimentation or trying to figure out what might come next, but I would say it's all very data-driven at this point. We've been distilling for a little while now, and the level of information that Chris Moore, our barrel manager, has been able to collect and maintains, talking about whiskey specifically, he knows what's in the rack house, he knows what's coming, and they're keeping a close eye on it, bringing out samples and figuring out then what we can do, like what's in this little bottle here, putting together like a small micro blend. That's where the experimentation starts.
Sure.
And then, expanding it into a full-blown, small run of something, right? So lots of experimentation on the whiskey side. I couldn't tell you how many things that are percolating in the lab that might come to be as a future release. Outside of the whiskey, I think I would say it's probably more internally cocktail driven. We have the toasted coconut rum established product, the cinnamon vodka, those spirits that helped keep the lights on while we waited for the sweet mash whiskey to slowly age. We're not turning our back on those products by any means. People enjoy them, and it's something we'll keep producing. I would say there's probably less innovation on that side of the business at this
Sure.
stage. But I would never rule out anything. If a new idea comes to somebody and we think it's something that we can turn into a new release, who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We may have to get in there and get a cocktail too to have it with us too.
Something.
Um,
What do you sample here in the house right here?
So here at the Turin
Yeah.
Tasting Center, you can you kind of nailed it, right? You can get a beer, right? You can sit down and have a flight of our more clear spirits, right? This is one of the handful of places. We're in Indiana where you can find our gin on the store shelves. Some places,
Yeah.
it's not a product that we necessarily have in widespread distribution because we're currently in over 20 states. Always adding more with Hard Truth, but the gin's a product in particular that I really like. I think our gin is super bright, vibrant, very citrus forward, especially for the summertime. It's one of my favorite non-whiskey. It is my favorite non-whiskey spirit that we make.
Okay.
And so you can sit down and you do that. You can sit down and have a whiskey flight from this building. And we also have some great mixologists in there that'll whip you up a great cocktail.
Final Third Cigar is Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. Come to Final Third for a selection of over 20 different Aladino cigars, including the Cameroon, a wonderful cigar with nice light flavors. Make sure and visit Final Third, the Aladino exclusive cigar lounge for Indiana.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, you also do a mixology class in there.
absolutely.
So if you want to come and learn how mixology works within making cocktails and stuff, they can teach you that here too. So I mean, a lot of options on learning as well as just coming out and enjoying your day.
Yeah.
One thing you had mentioned earlier too about Brian, you know, I think this is really unique because I mean you hear this occasionally, but not very often. But you know, he was brewing beer, and then he showed an interest in the distilling side, and you're like, let's go. And you know, he's learned it from that process, and I think that's kind of a fun way to do it because you know, yeah, you can go take the classes, you can hire a master distiller, but someone that already has bought into the brand, bought into what you're doing, and also someone you already trust is it's gold. I mean, you have that ability now to do something special together, and he can learn along the way. And that's awesome.
Yeah, you know, Brian's story for me is a fun one. You know, one, we get along really pretty well, I think. We're very like-minded in a lot of ways. You know, one of the things that drew me to brewing beer was, you know, I like to cook. I like to play with flavors. It's just something, you know, just all my life that I've enjoyed. So, you know, when I got into brewing, that's really what drew me to it, right? I could take these ingredients and make something, and something I could share with people. And that's really probably the fundamentals of Brian as well. In addition to, we all love trying and learning new things. So yeah, Brian was actually, he came on, and at that stage he was cleaning kegs and doing all the dirty work around the brewery, realized what we were planning to do with distilling, and said, hey guys, help me in.
Yeah.
There's
nice.
actually a pretty funny story. As we were planning all of this and just doing our work from that small pilot distillery at our pizza restaurant, where were taking a lot of trips down into distillery tours and, you know, also brewery tours, different things. And we were down in the Bardstown area for a couple days doing a series of tours. And it's when Brian made his big pitch to kind of say, hey guys, I want to be the man, right? And it was it was done in like this, you know, little motel room. Just in the middle of wherever we were, you know, in the Bardstown area, is where Brian kind of made his final, you know, little pitch to my partners and I to say, yes, I do want to be the guy helping you. I want to be your master distiller, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun story, and yeah, he definitely immersed himself in the community, the distilling community, and to your point, yeah. It really is a self-taught kind of situation, which is really cool, with a lot of smart people helping us along the way and educating us, but you know, doing it in the same way we kind of grew the beer business, which was doing it that way, you know, learn by doing, I guess might be the way to say it, right?
Yeah.
Trial by fire, man.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing I know.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You know, I can relate to that.
and you know, and we got to try the white dog up there, which was absolutely delicious, and it's kind of cool to see because I mean, with whiskey alone, yeah, obviously with gin and you know, vodka and some of those things, you can make it, and you can bottle it tomorrow and you can sell it, but with whiskey, you know, you're going to be waiting a few years to see how good your stuff really was.
Right.
But if you start with a very, very clean, very, very flavorful base spirit like that, and then age it, you know it's going to turn into something. Well, you know, you never know. Wood could change. You may have something in the wood that screws it up or whatever, but you know, starting with that, you're going to have a good product. And when the Sweet Mash Ryes hit the shelves, you guys made a big splash in the industry. Some of the best rye. Well, you know, obviously, you know, we got MGP. They make great rye, but your rye is actually kind of made Indiana the rye. You know, that's what probably helped us become the rye capital of the this. Of
And
the
I mean,
world.
other brand. We talked about Sweet Mash too on our not last episode, episode 90 with Dirk Fence. We talked about Sweet Mash a lot on that one, and you know, some of the other big sixes also do Sweet Mash too, but along with like what Rob said, you know, whenever you guys released that Sweet Mash Rye, it was kind of like groundbreaking to the industry and like kind of put Sweet Mash on the map. Like, you know, everyone started talking about it again. And
yeah,
whenever, you know, a lot of people already knew the Sipes brand that you had sourced before and all that. And everyone knew what it was like, but then everyone's like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see, is their spirit going to be good if they've made themselves? And from your very first one, they've all been very good.
Yeah, that's I think we all had a certain level of confidence that we were doing all the right things early on, because we were, to your point, our distillate was really well received as we distributed it around to kind of get notes and then feedback from people. But you never know until you start pulling some of those samples. And, that was a really interesting time. I've mentioned Brian Smith, our master distiller, Chris Moore, barrel manager, and myself kind of represent our sensory team, right? I don't shoulder a lot of the work that they have. I get to come in and, sit down and sample things and give my notes, which is work, honestly, but it's fun work. Here we were figuring out what was going to go in that first 30 barrel blend, and we get to that point and we feel pretty good about it, right? We're like, oh, this is pretty good, but you also worry that you're talking in an echo chamber, right?
Yeah.
So there was that, brief moment in time where you feel in your gut and your heart that what's in that bottle is good.
Yeah.
But until you release it to the world, you have no idea what people are going to really think about it. And I guess all I can say is once some of those good feedback started coming in, and we also, we had distributed some bottles around to kind of get some feedback from some trusted partners. And, you're hoping that they're giving you honest feedback, right? And aren't just trying to make you feel okay about what you've done.
Right.
But yeah, once those good reviews started coming in, it was like, oh, we weren't just, telling ourselves it was good, right?
Yeah.
It's I think I told you guys earlier this morning that, with the beer, when I was actively making it, it was never easy for me to say, oh yes, the Busted Knuckles great, right? I always wanted it to be better. And I'm far enough away from the day-to-day of making our whiskey that it's a lot easier for me to enjoy it, and it's a fun place to be. I don't have to be as critical as hard on myself, because I'm not one of them mired in the day-to-day of making it. And it's a fun place to be. And it was a big relief once we were receiving some positive feedback.
Sure.
It's pretty
Yeah.
It's a good place to be.
When we saw the video earlier, that Jerry kind of shared with us too, Fred Minnick giving you guys really high regards, and it sounded like Fred got a little bit of crap for it, because it's like, oh, this distillery no one knows about, in his circles, and he's saying, so it's what I can't remember exactly what he said. It was one of the best, if not the best first release of anybody he's ever tasted.
Yeah,
that's high accolades.
It was, and that was kind of probably one of those first sigh of relief moments, right? When he's going to be talking about your product, and you tune into the podcast or the video, and you're like, oh, cool, he enjoyed it.
Ooh, good.
Everyone's sitting around the fire and they're like, what?
Yeah, but to your point, there were a couple follow up podcasts or videos that were published where groups were doing blinds and kind of going into it, springboarding from the things that Fred said, saying, "Oh, surely not," and then generally we were coming out pretty good on some of those blinds. So it was kind of fun.
That is very cool.
Love that.
Well, you were talking about earlier. One of the ones that I tried down here the first time I came down was that chocolate malt, and there's something special about chocolate malt. It definitely has the chocolate in there too, but it gives you a different depth of a whiskey that you can't get in any other way. And I really enjoy your chocolate malt.
Thank you. Yeah,
and all of them, the caramel malt, all of them. Yeah,
I gotta try that. I wasn't privy to try that one.
We might.
I really like the Woodford.
We'll find
chocolate.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I would love to try that.
The chocolate malt and the caramel malt are ones I really like to talk about, just based on my brewing background. It has a very nostalgic. It's a nostalgic experience for me, because if you have brewed, whether it's home brewing or whether you're commercial brewing, doesn't really matter. You know what chocolate malt tastes like. You know what caramel malt tastes like, and it might not be that uncommon for you to sprinkle some of those grains into your, I don't know, your yogurt in the morning or something, right?
Yeah.
You know, and just as you're getting a sense of those grains, I would have never thought that chocolate malt in particular would come through so honest to what taking a small handful of that grain and kind of chewing on it
Yeah.
in your mouth.
Or just put it up your nose and smell it.
Yeah,
It all comes through.
It comes through in the whiskey, but in a really good way, right?
Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
never thought that all those things would line up and that it would be true. And so it's one that I really love sharing with people
Yeah.
because if you are at all familiar with that grain, the true essence of that grain comes through in the whiskey.
Yeah.
And it tastes good.
Well, and to someone out there that may have not tried it yet, and I know you haven't yet, Mike, a lot of people are flavoring whiskeys. That is not what this is doing.
Not flavored. Yeah.
This is literally, you're getting the flavor of that chocolate malt in the whiskey, but it's coming from that grain. It's so natural.
Yep.
It just works.
Love that.
And we're not big flavored whiskey fans at all.
Mhm.
That one there is one you could literally say this would work for somebody that might like flavored whiskeys but want to get it into something a little bit higher level.
And I think where the confusion can come in with the chocolate malted rye is what chocolate malt means is it literally is just a grain, a barley that's been kilned or cooked, baked. And generally most brewers' grains are going to go through that process, some very lightly, if barely at all, and others more intensely. So a caramel malt is a very medium toasted grain. It's going to bring out a lot of complex sugar flavors akin to caramel.
Yeah.
Chocolate malt is more heavily roasted, so it brings out more like cocoa, deep chocolate, or coffee notes into the grain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're talking about when we're speaking
Yeah.
about that grain. It's wild.
Is there anybody in here right now that can go in there and get a little bit for us to try?
Yeah.
I'll grab that way you can try it on the show, and I want to see your
yeah,
response.
There you go. See what you can do.
All right, I'll see if I can get it.
All right.
Thank you to sponsor Deadwood Live. Derek with Deadwood Live is producing top quality live edge products as well as bourbon themed furniture. If you've been in the lounge, you've seen the custom live edge table and barrel stools produced by Derek. Be sure to give him a like and follow on Facebook at Deadwood Live. That's DED Wood Live.
So this is the famous chocolate. All right. Buggy.
Smell it right on the nose. Love it.
Yeah, it hits right up front.
Mm.
All right, let's get into it.
This should go well with the cigar, too.
I think so too.
Yeah, with
that's
that dark-
exactly what I
yeah.
was thinking.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
It's going in the Steve segment. Wow.
And this, if I'm not mistaken, this is around 116 proof, I think, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to your bartender there. She's in there
Shout out.
crushing it right now.
Heck
Excellent.
Yeah, there's some people showing up.
Yeah.
So how busy do you guys get during the week typically?
So, we're sitting here. It's almost noon. We open at 11. People start trickling in. It's a Monday, so yeah. Especially after a holiday weekend, everybody's pretty partied out. But
Yeah.
generally by this time we'll probably start getting a pretty good lunch crowd, and then as the week goes on, it kind of gets busier earlier, and then you kind of hit the weekend, which is obviously Brown County is definitely a weekend destination.
Yeah.
Sort of
Still seemed
place.
like there was a lot of campers out at the sites when we were driving in, so
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe people still hung over from the 4th of July.
Yeah, they just slower starts, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of them, they'll camp. They'll park their camper out here, and they'll be here all summer
Mm-hmm.
or fall. All the way
Interesting.
through. So
They summer in Brown County.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
yeah. So talking about the restaurant a little bit.
Yep.
What are some of your staples that you guys have? Do you have some that are like this is spotlighting what we do?
Yeah, really to get back to the origins of Big Woods, the one dish I don't think we'll ever be able to get away from, nor do we really want to, are our pulled pork nachos.
Oh, nice.
Heck yeah.
So that's a signature. And one that is also kind of a continual signature is we started early on smoking our wings, dry rubbing and smoking the wings. So those two things are kind of like the standards that even here, as Hard Truth tries to build its own identity away from Big Woods and what people experience there. I don't know that we could remove any item like that from the menu without
Sure.
people having a small riot. But yeah, I think that we're always trying to find ways to practically introduce, the beer or the spirits, especially here, the whiskey, into the menu, whether it's through pairing suggestions or finding ways to incorporate it in the production of some of the dishes. But to me, those are kind of some of the core foundation menu items that people that we're definitely known for.
Mm-hmm.
But you can come here and get a great burger. You can come here and get a nice order of fish and chips. It's a pretty diverse menu to kind of offer people a pretty broad selection of things.
Just no sausage links hanging from the smokehouse yet.
Not yet.
Not
One
yet.
day,
Yeah.
we're gonna get a ham in there or something.
Hang a whole hog from the roof and
Yep.
ooh, there you go. Barrel smoked wings.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Line the barrel with your wings, and then you have a buffalo whiskey. Don't do that.
No.
Just kidding. Yeah, I
No.
lost you right there.
I will tell you that was one of the things you showed us is your little smokehouse you have, and we talked about this earlier about
Awesome.
being a craft distiller, even though you guys are at a pretty big scale now, you're still able to experiment with things, and you guys are doing that, and you have a smokehouse to do some crazy things with the barrels and the whiskey and all that, and that's really fun because the whiskey nerds in all of us, we want to try things that are different and unique, and that's definitely going to be hitting the market.
Yeah.
So
Bottom of the pond whiskey
Yeah.
oh yeah,
coming
yeah.
soon.
There may or may not have
Neptune
been
edition.
may or may
Yes.
not have been 2 barrels in the floating rack house at one time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's one because something happened to
Something.
the second one.
Something
Yeah,
happened.
the fishes are drunk.
Diving. That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
You're gonna see a bunch of fish surface in a couple months.
Yeah.
We need to get like a submersible drone or something and get down there and
Oh, there
check
you
on
go.
it, right?
Ocean Gate.
There you go. Well,
You could probably conquer that pond.
probably
It's not that deep. I don't
Nah.
think it'll implode super quick.
should be okay.
Yeah.
I got an extra Xbox controller I can lend you.
I'll be honest, I can't believe you guys haven't went down there just to check on it, just to see what's going
So
on.
we've got to figure it out, right?
You
How
got
deep
it,
is
man.
that? That's not a huge pond.
It's not. Yeah, it's not super deep.
I mean, I feel like I could just like walk in there and pick it up. I mean, it's in water.
It's probably pretty light.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Once you get it to the
Not
top.
waterlogged or anything now. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah.
The closer you get to the edge,
I mean, yeah, maybe it did something special for it.
you never know, right?
It would be interesting
Yeah.
to see if it did hold
If it
together and
held.
everything. Yeah.
What you do is you go get that barrel and then you frame it next, like to the shore.
Yep.
Like,
I mean, you really think? I mean, you honestly, unless it just deteriorated somehow, you would think that having water on the outside plus the juice on the inside, it's got to be swelled up to the point where there's nothing leaking. You would
There's
think.
a small chance.
Small
that it's
chance.
got some.
it's the barnacle blend, bikini bottom.
Yeah, there you go.
So be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah.
That will literally be a distillery only if it ever comes
Yeah,
out, right?
The pond water blend. Yeah.
Tim's special blend.
Tastes
Yeah.
like frog legs.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
god.
great.
Why does this taste like catfish? Oh wow, man. So what else you guys got going on? What's you guys do events out here with music and
Mhm.
obviously you guys are big into charity with local farmers. What other stuff do you guys have planned for the future?
We've got a lot of great ideas, and it's a matter of figuring out what to choose.
Back to that
implement.
whiteboard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just got to pick and choose which one to take.
That's right. What I know will be coming. We continue to improve our basically fall and summer concert series. Where we utilize the amphitheater, the terrace, which is what we call it, to have more and more fun events that are very outdoor centric from there.
Sure.
So I know we'll continue to develop more and more fun things there. The couple of trail run races we do throughout the year, I know that'll be something, outdoor adventure type things. where people can get out and participate on the property. Those will be things we'll continue to do. I mean, to be honest, rack house development, putting down a couple more rack houses is definitely something that is going to be happening. I know we'll probably improve the tiki tour, the little the tiki boat tour. Where I believe there's plans to expand that and install a small tiki bar out there to enhance that experience. And one thing,
oysters.
yeah, who knows,
Well,
right?
there you go. There you
Straight
go.
out of the pond, right?
Yeah. Right from the barrel.
Yeah. One thing that we're relaunching, which is pretty cool, is something we call the Moonshiners Experience. And if you were to get out onto the trails, there's a small cabin that we built right at one of the fingers of the pond back there, and it's our representation of kind of a small moonshiners camp, and we actually have the ability to legally set up a still back there, and it's a tour that can be booked. And you can have a small group, come with a small group of people, go out in the woods, sit down, let the still run, be a part of making some moonshine in the woods, some new make in the woods.
Sounds like something we need to do.
That sounds like our cabin episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So that is something that we've done a few times, and we're relaunching in a more I hesitate to say official way, but more like this is something we will be offering far more regularly as a regularly occurring tour, but also something groups can book as a special experience, and be able to interact with a member of our distilling team, and if you're lucky, maybe Brian Smith, right?
Yeah.
And get out there in the woods and do that. So that's probably the one that I think if somebody's really into experiencing something different and unique that you really probably can't do almost, I don't know if you could do it anywhere else, right? To be honest, it's a pretty unique experience.
Legally.
Yeah, legally, yes,
Legally, yeah.
Here you can do it, and
Yes.
the G-Man's not going to come after you, right?
Yeah.
We've got,
I could do it.
yeah.
I'm not going to.
No.
I'm not doing it right now.
No, you're not doing
No.
it.
Yeah, I'm
Not
not
at
doing it
all.
right now at all. Man, you should do that on the boat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boat options.
There's a
here,
lot of
Rob.
boat options
we're
here.
floating around a lot of boat talk. I think it's time
So-
to get a boat.
That's something I
Guess
do
we need a
want
bigger
to.
pond.
I do want to share with everyone that we're smoking out here right now. This is a non-smoking property, correctly? Or correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are areas where you can go to
To have a
To have a
cigar.
smoke,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely a little bit of a special thing we've set
I needed
up for us
electricity.
today.
Leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to have an electric.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we'd be in the middle of the woods
Yeah.
doing this, which
Yeah.
would be
Oh,
really cool.
yeah.
That would be really
Wow,
cool,
man. Yeah. Well, next time.
Next
Next
time.
time we will. I know we
Battery
got a generator.
packs.
We
Yes.
got a quiet generator we can tote out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd
But
be
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
so I wanted to make sure everyone knew that, you're not going to be able to just bring cigars down here and hang out on the patio and
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah.
You could probably, like you said, find a spot to have a cigar, but this is really more about the experience of hard truth.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think that's cool. One of the things we talked about wanting to do is rent a pontoon and do like a whiskey tasting and cigar taste pairing on a boat sometime. So
Yeah.
maybe we rent your boat out and do that sometime.
I bet we could figure that out.
That'd be kind of fun.
I think
yeah.
we'd for sure need someone to drive.
Well, of course, yeah. You gotta have the captain.
Skipper Travis in there,
Yeah,
right?
Skipper
Oh, hell
Travis.
yeah, Travis,
Yeah.
let's
He
go.
can be our tour guide. For
I don't
the day.
know, man. Looking at Travis, I bet he can probably put down some whiskey too.
I think he's experienced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
seems
a little
that
bit.
way,
Yeah.
Seems well tenured.
I mean, to be able to talk about it
Well, you
helps
got
to know.
Yeah.
right?
exactly.
So how long's Travis been around? Has he been around since opening?
He might. If not opening, not much beyond opening. He's been around a while. Yep.
I think when I talked to him last time he was here, I think he said he started right
He's-
from the beginning, almost from the beginning. So
Well versed on the heritage and
Yep. He has a great personality. I think
the next Freddie.
yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, he might have been dressed up in old timey garb and pretended
Camera
to
stopped.
be Henry Sipes or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Right?
give me a second.
Well, that's why I got both, Rob.
Okay, so we don't need to do anything.
Oh, did you format the card?
No.
It might be full.
Oh, okay.
It's probably not. I mean, you can try it again. I got mine though. Mine's running.
Well, it's not showing. I mean, it's not off, so the battery didn't die, so it had to be full. So, oh well, we got the other camera now.
Heck yeah, we're still rolling. That's why we always take 2.
Good.
It helps.
So, all right, whatever.
Rob, what am I gonna do with you?
Sorry.
I mean, we are just hanging out, smoking cigars.
I mean,
it, man.
drinking
it wouldn't be
whiskey,
it
so-
wouldn't be right if I didn't screw something up in the technical side of it. So,
No, at the end of the year, we're just gonna have outtakes.
yes,
I like
of
that.
all of
all the shit I drop, and
I feel
There
like
goes Rob's phone.
haven't dropped my cigar today. This has
Yeah.
been great. I better stop saying that.
Are
'cause
the
I
fans
will.
on?
I've done that before too. Forget to turn the exhaust fans on for the lounge, and we're in there smoking. I'm like, man, it's getting kind of cloudy in here. What's going on?
I feel like you and I would get along.
Yeah.
We have some similar character traits there.
Yeah. We pay people for that stuff, right?
Yeah, Tim, you have to make a trip up to the lounge sometime
I
and hang out with us there.
Definitely need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Brian wants to come up there too. So
Yeah,
it'd
that's
be
what he
cool to
said.
kinda do
Field
like a
trip.
tasting event, kind of
like
double
that.
up.
We definitely should do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe sometime towards the end of the summer.
Yeah. Well, anything else we need to chat about?
I don't think so. I mean, you got any dates for like specific events coming up you want to talk about?
I know.
You said the trail runner thing.
Yeah, well, I think we've got one. We just did one, and we'll have one coming up in the fall. Right now the biggest thing would be every weekend we're going to have some great music happening.
Heck yeah.
So if you're wanting a relaxed atmosphere to be able to come down, have a drink, enjoy some music, or bring your family. I mean, that's the beauty with what we have here. Out on the terrace, I have families hanging out enjoying the day,
Yeah.
right? So it's definitely can be a pretty multi-generational experience if you want it to be. It's not all about the whiskey. It's obviously what we're here making.
Right.
But we have enough going on here that you can bring the family, enjoy the day, and have a great time.
Well, that's something I feel like wineries kind of jumped on that early on,
Yeah.
and now it's nice to see distilleries and breweries all doing more family friendly, and stop making drinking something you go out and do to go get hammered. It should be something that people, if you enjoy drinking, you should be able to do that around your kids. It should not be something they feel is very weird or whatever. Make it natural, and it wouldn't be a problem when they get a little older, in my opinion.
And
Yeah.
Starlight's been doing music for years,
Yeah, it's-
since before they've been distilling. So I mean, they do live music there almost every day.
That's a great place to be
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
We're going there next week for a barrel pick.
Yeah.
So,
Love that.
yeah, we're doing another. It's another. I can't remember the one, but it's another fundraiser one.
Yeah,
Sweet.
With Garrett and Lynette. So
yeah.
yeah,
Shout out to Garrett.
Shout out Garrett. We'll hit you guys up and you guys come hang out
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah,
that'd be
definitely.
awesome.
We should. I really want to make a trip up.
Yeah, be sweet, man.
Have
And
a
and I know you talked about events coming up and stuff. Do you have a couple of bottle releases coming that you want to let people know that are on the horizon? I know you said the one that we looked at in the tank back there.
Mhm. Yeah. So, the bottling runs of this year's releases for the Barrel Finish Reserve, the Master Distillers Reserve, they're going to be planned and coming out. But between here late summer, fall, throughout the end of the year. We're going to have another Mellencamp whiskey release coming out in the fall. It's got a really sweet label too. It's a good looking bottle.
Yeah. John Cougar
so-
Mellencamp, if you want to come hang out with us,
Heck yeah.
here's your sign.
So yeah, we're gonna have those products on the whiskey front that are gonna be coming out to be released. And that's just gonna be kind of happening mostly fall and throughout the end of the year.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, where can they find all of that information at?
Yeah, hardtruth.com is gonna be your place to find pretty much everything you want to find out about. It's your portal.
Heck yeah.
And,
Events and everything on the site?
Yep, you've got events and
Yeah.
all the fun happenings. Obviously, all the social media outlets, you can find us there too.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be sure to follow all of the Hard Truth social medias for more information. Rob, where can they
Yep.
find you at?
Might be, excuse me, everywhere on. It's just Final Third Cigar. Yeah.
Heck yeah, you can find me at Both Are Visuals, Spencer Lee's, and The Final Third Podcast on Instagram. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, tweet, X, whatever you want to do, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah,
Just
just
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, please don't shut me down, Nike.
Well, thanks again, Tim, for having us.
Thank you
We
for being
enjoyed
here.
this. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Appreciate
we'll
it.
see you guys next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah.